Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts About the 40K Universe. I am your host, Gershwin, and you are watching One Mind Syndicate. Today we continue talking about Xeno race in the Warhammer 40K universe as we get into the means of travel that most Xeno races use. Now, if you're new to the channel, subscribe. We post Warhammer 40K content every single day, and we have a huge archive of just a bunch of lore videos. So if you're a lore fanatic, sift through all of our videos, and I'm pretty sure you'll find something that interests you. But with that said, let's get into 40 facts on Xeno travel technology. The Tau Empire uses a slower but efficient method of space travel. They utilize a device called an ether drive, also called a gravitic drive. It is a Tau spacecraft drive that allows for faster than light travel through the boundaries between real space and the warp. Unlike an Imperial warp drive, which allows a starship to fully enter and navigate through the warp to achieve apparent superluminal speeds and reduce travel time in real space, the Tau Ether Drive only allows a starship to make a brief dive into warp space. While a Tau starship outfitted with an ether drive can still achieve apparent superluminal velocities from the perspective of real space, interstellar travel using this technology is far slower than conventional warp travel. Despite the Tau's lack of psychers and their lack of understanding of the true nature of the immaterium, the Earthcast has nevertheless developed an efficient drive system that is sufficient to suit the needs of the rapidly expanding Tau Empire. In the history of the Tau Empire, on the innermost of the worlds of the Tau's 7 moons, a routine geological survey discovered the remains of an alien vessel. The significance of the find did not disrupt the Tau society as much as might have been expected. Tau theorists had long reasoned that other intelligent life forms existed in the universe, and the verification helped confirm the belief that there was a greater destiny awaiting them. No Tau commented on the sheer good fortune of finding the technology that they so desperately needed on their doorstep, just when they needed it. The Tau were able to duplicate the warp drive of the alien ship, but the initial test flights were disastrous. Achieving transitions to the warp required more than technology. It required psychically attuned minds, and the Tau race boasted no psychers. Without them to guide the transition, no amount of power could breach the dimensional barrier. The best the Tau could do was make a partial transition, forcing themselves into the void that separated the warp and real space before they were hurled out once again, like a ball held underwater, then released. Data gathered at great cost during the test flights was studied closely. Watercast scientists made the observation that the boundary between real space and warp space was not a neat line. It was closer to being a turbulent ocean fomented by the chaotic warp tides below. By carefully angling their descent towards the warp and extending the field generated by the gravitic drive into a wing shape to hold the vessel down in the immaterium, a Tau vessel could extend the duration of the dive considerably. The speeds achieved in the ascent back to real space were staggering, and this, coupled with the effect of the warp on time and space, ensured that the real distance covered by the dive was immense. Early tests lost several drone ships because they inadvertently passed far beyond the sensor's range of their recovery vessel. The details were soon resolved. There was still a major constraint on this so-called ether drive, for only the most powerful and bulky drives could sustain the gravitic wing throughout the dive, and the power drain meant that the considerable recharge time was needed between dives. Also, in comparison to a starship that fully entered and navigated through the warp using a conventional warp drive, the pace of superluminal travel was very slow. In comparison to the typical superluminal speed achieved by Imperial void ships outfitted with a warp drive, the Tau ether drive was slower by a factor of 5. The speed was consistent though, and did not expose the Tau to the myriad perils of the warp, enabling the Tau race to expand beyond their home star system for the first time. Tyranid hive fleets also do not travel through the warp like Imperial starships, yet the hive fleet's incredible fast rate of advance into a galaxy belies the argument made by some that they do not possess a mode of faster than light travel. While it is true that the Tyranids are forced to remain at the sublight speed while within a gravitic boundary of a planetary system, they are capable of superluminal velocities when traveling through interstellar space. This capability is a result of a small Tyranid bioship classified by the savants of the Imperium of Man as a Narwhal. Unlike most Tyranid bioships, the Narwhal is also completely defenseless, and possesses almost no bioweaponry and only a very thin protective carapace. A cluster of monofilament spines on the narwhal's bow allows it to take in a wide variety of sensory input, including a broad spectrum of gravitic meter and electromagnetic signals. Using this sensor, the narwhal can detect new planetary systems at extreme interstellar distances. In some unknown manner, it then makes use of their original star system's own gravity and creates a compressed space-time transit corridor through which the narwhal and other Tyranid bioships can traverse interstellar distances. This form of space warping travel cannot be used near strong gravitational sources, as they overwhelm the narwhal's hypersensitive navigational sensors. As a result, a Tyranid hive fleet must use more conventional forms of biologically induced reaction-based propulsion during the final approach to a new star system, which can slow their arrival by nearly a year or even entire decades. While this form of propulsion is ultimately slower than the reliance upon a warp drive, it is a great deal more reliable and allows the Tyranids to move slowly, if implicably, across the galaxy. However, the narwhal's manipulation of star systems' gravity does sometimes produce unintended side effects. A destination world can suffer from earthquakes, solar flares, tidal waves, and other natural disasters produced during the interval during which the hive fleet is in transition through space-time transit corridors. This chaos only further benefits the Tyranids' invasion, as the defenders of the target world will have their resources bound up in dealing with these problems when the swarm finally arrives in orbit and the first mycetic spores begin to fall. Now, when it comes to orcs utilize a wide variety of starfaring vessels to cross the immense interstellar distance of the void. Their ability to use the warp as a means of travel is hardwired into their genetic makeup as orcs. Mech boys instinctively understand how to get a stolen or discovered ship ready for warp travel. Orcs can even use asteroids as warships, hollowing them out and adding engines and weaponry so they are capable of warp travel. These rocks make for extremely durable void ships and can easily be created in each new star systems the greenskins attack to replace any losses they suffer. Another method of travel favored by the orc race is via space hulks. These titanic amalgamations of numerous starships, asteroids, and other spaceborne debris become mobile colonies for orc raiders. When a space hulk is found by a clan of orcs, they quickly board the vessel and begin scavenging all they can from the immense ramshackled vessel to fuel their war efforts. Mech boys begin fabricating weapons, armor, and vehicles almost immediately, as metal and other valuable assets are salvaged and stockpiled in areas of the hulk. Often completely new void ships can even be assembled inside the huge holds or caverns to be found within massive space hulks. A space hulk usually has no means of propulsion of its own. It simply travels on the natural flows of the warp on a journey across the void. Industrious mechs and weird boys can sometimes assist in moving a space hulk into a warp rift or other passages, but this is by no means an exact form of travel. This suits the orcs just fine, as it appeals to their senses of adventure and conquest. They feel that a space hulk is a gift from their gods, Gork and Mork, taking them to a new and exciting battle. A space hulk is often accompanied by fleets of cruisers and other greenskin escort vessels as it moves through the void to its new destination. When an Imperial world detects the imminent arrival of a space hulk, it often sends waves of panic throughout the sector. There are many well-known legends and rumors of the destruction such a vessel can bring, and many are based in horrific facts. And then the Necrons. The Necrons' technology is beyond anything the galaxy has ever seen, surpassing even that of the highly advanced Eldar. Their void ships are stunningly fast and agile, equipped with propulsion systems, which are capable of traveling interstellar distances without entering the warp. This is achieved, as far as it's known, by somehow making their ships unbound by inertia or mass, allowing them to accelerate almost instantly and infinitely, which explains why Necron void ships are often seen to be visibly decelerating upon reaching the site of battle. This also protects them from many of the practical problems and dangers of warp travel. All Necron starships are well armored in necrodermis, equipped with self-repaired systems and utilizing some sort of advanced stealth technology, which makes them difficult to detect for enemy targeting systems, granting Necron vessels surprising staying power. Although still devastating, Necron naval weaponry does not seem to match the raw power of some Imperial designs. However, the Necron's weaponry is known to bypass many conventional defense systems, such as void shields and even Eldar hollow fields, and strike with an unearthly accuracy. And those were 40 facts on Xeno-traveling technology. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Now, we didn't talk about the Eldar, because the Eldar have their own standalone video called the 40 facts on the Webway. So they use the Webway, and that's a whole video all in its own. We already have it up on the channel, so check that out. And if you're curious about warp travel for the Imperium, check out our 40 facts on the Imperial Navy. That has a lot of information on warp travel for them. If you guys have any questions about those two, comment down below and we'll try to make a video clarifying or redo a video, because I know those two videos are pretty old. Now, there's a lot to unpackage in this video, starting off with the Tau and how it was just so mysterious how they were able to find a vessel that taught them how to travel faster than light, basically. Was it left there by the old ones purposefully? Was it left there by somebody else, like the Eldar? All those type of theory videos we can talk about, so if you're interested in any of that, comment down below. Also, the Necrons, with their ability to just get rid of physics, they're technologically advanced to the point where they can just get rid of physics, and if that's the case, think of all the craziness that they could achieve on their own. That's why when I did our 40 facts video when I did our who would win, the Necrons versus the Tyranids, and I said the Necrons would win, the Necrons, on their technology alone, like, they're incredible. Tell me what Tyranid bioform is going to be able to just say, get rid of gravity, bam. They can use and manipulate gravity, but they can't get rid of gravity like that. But again, anything that sparks an idea in your mind for a video, or anything that you want to request to be clarified, comment down below. We'll read that stuff. And thanks so much for watching, guys. If you like our videos and you want to support us, jump on over to Patreon. A simple $1 a month helps us create more videos. If you can't, simply by liking, commenting, and sharing, it helps out the channel. And I say all that stuff in every video just because it really does help out the channel, and it helps us create more videos for you. We're gonna try our best to do 3 videos for the month of December. So help us out by sharing, commenting, and liking our videos. But with that said, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. This was Gershwin with One Mind Syndicate, signing out.